California, once the golden dream, is now unraveling in real time. The state that built Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and the American fantasy is collapsing under its own weight. Home prices are plunging, jobs are vanishing, and more than 240,000 residents fled in a single year. Mortgage payments have tripled, insurance costs are exploding, and unemployment is climbing towards 6%. From San Francisco's tech implosion to Los Angeles' housing meltdown, the cracks are spreading fast. What was once the land of opportunity is now the epicenter of America's modern economic disaster, a slow-motion collapse that's only just beginning. Number 10. Fresno. Fresno was once hailed as California's affordable escape, a working-class city where middle-income families could still dream of homeownership. But that dream is fading fast. In 2025, the median home price in Fresno hit $470,000, with a typical monthly mortgage near $3,300, triple what it was a decade ago. For a city with an average household income barely above $66,000, that's financial suicide. The unemployment rate stands at a staggering 7.9%, the highest in the entire United States. Nearly 1 in 13 workers in Fresno can't find a job, and job postings have fallen by more than 40% since 2021, according to Indeed. The city's housing supply has started to swell as affordability collapses. In late 2022, there were around 1,600 homes on the market. Today, listings hover near 3,000, almost double, but sales volume is down 35% year over year. Sellers who once bragged about multiple offers now face price cuts averaging $28,000 per home. Even worse, rental yields are shrinking. The average rent for a 3-bedroom home in Fresno is about $2,050, meaning investors lose roughly $1,200 each month if they bought at current prices. Fresno's construction sector, once a major employer, is now shrinking under high interest rates. Building permits dropped 46% compared to 2023, signaling developers have slammed the brakes. The city's debt-laden local government is also straining under rising costs. Property tax revenues increased just 1.5%, while insurance premiums for homeowners surged 14% due to wildfire risk across the valley. Even agriculture, Fresno's economic backbone, is in decline. Water restrictions, drought cycles, and labor shortages have driven farm bankruptcies up 22% since 2020. With declining incomes, rising housing costs, and record unemployment, Fresno now represents the perfect storm of California's broader collapse. Overvalued real estate, evaporating jobs, and vanishing hope. Once seen as the last refuge of affordability, the Central Valley's largest city has become a warning sign that even California's cheap markets are running out of time before the real crash begins. Number 9. Truckee. Once a picture-perfect alpine retreat near Lake Tahoe, Truckee has become a brutal symbol of California's housing breakdown. The median home price here peaked above $1.2 million in 2022, but by late 2025, values have cratered nearly 19%, erasing more than $220,000 in equity per homeowner. Inventory has quietly doubled while sales have plunged 45% year over year, the steepest drop in Northern California. Mortgage payments that averaged $3,800 a month just 3 years ago now exceed $6,200, a crushing sum in a region where the median household income is barely $102,000. Truckee's downfall isn't only about prices, it's about risk. Wildfires and insurance withdrawals have gutted confidence in the market. In 2025, major insurers like State Farm and Allstate raised rates by 36% or left entire zip codes unprotected, forcing residents into California's FAIR plan, where annual premiums for a modest 2-bed cabin can exceed $8,000. Utility bills are climbing too. Heating costs spiked 28% this winter as energy subsidies disappeared. For many locals, owning property here has turned from a dream into a financial nightmare. Tourism, once Truckee's lifeline, is shrinking fast. Hotel occupancy fell from 79% in 2022 to 59% this summer. Short-term rentals that once fetched $400 a night now sit empty for weeks. Airbnb listings are up 42%, saturating demand and driving nightly rates down by half. Local small businesses report revenues falling 30 to 40%, while employment in leisure and hospitality, Truckee's largest sector, has dropped 18% in just 1 year. Even migration, the town's last safety valve, has reversed. Census data show net outmigration of 1,700 people in a town of barely 17,000, an exodus of nearly 10% of the population. Truckee now faces collapsing demand, overpriced housing, soaring insurance, and economic stagnation, all at 6,000 feet above sea level. The paradise that once symbolized California's mountain wealth has turned into a chilling preview of what happens when nature, debt, and overvaluation collide. Number 8. Riverside. Once marketed as the affordable alternative to Los Angeles, Riverside County has become a symbol of suburban overextension. Median home prices peaked at $620,000 in 2023. Today, they've slipped to $600,000 to $5,000, a modest-sounding 2% drop that hides something much worse. A 45% collapse in home sales volume and surging days on market, now averaging 52 days, the highest in over a decade. Mortgage rates above 7.5% have pushed the average buyer's payment to $4,100 per month, while the median household earns only $78,000 per year. Nearly 58% of income now goes toward housing, far above the safe affordability limit of 30%. FHA-backed mortgages dominate Riverside's housing market, and as pandemic-era forbearance programs expire, delinquency rates are creeping up fast. In the past year alone, 90-day late payments jumped 61%, and local foreclosure filings more than tripled, according to Atom data. Inventory has risen from 4,800 active listings to over 7,000, a 46% surge, yet buyers remain frozen. The Riverside Metro's job market is deteriorating as logistics and warehousing firms, its largest employers, cut hours amid freight slowdowns. Amazon's Moreno Valley hub has reduced staffing by nearly 15%, while trucking layoffs ripple through neighboring San Bernardino. For investors, the numbers no longer make sense. A typical single-family home rents for $2,600 per month, which barely covers half the mortgage cost. Meanwhile, property insurance premiums have risen 13% and utilities are up 10% year over year. Riverside's promise of affordable Southern California living has turned into a debt trap, a landscape of over-leveraged buyers, stalled construction, and silent subdivisions. Riverside was supposed to be the escape hatch from Los Angeles' insanity. Instead, it's becoming the next foreclosure capital of California, a market cracking under the combined weight of unaffordable debt, fading jobs, and economic denial. Number 7. San Bernardino. San Bernardino has become the epicenter of California's suburban implosion, a place where the American dream once flourished and now bleeds through foreclosure notices. In 2025, the median home price sits at $545,000, down 1.8% year over year. But that number conceals the chaos beneath. Mortgage delinquencies have doubled in just 12 months. Roughly 1 in every 165 homes is now in some stage of foreclosure, the fastest surge since 2009. The region's economy, once built on logistics and manufacturing, is unraveling. Warehouse employment has dropped 14% since 2023 as e-commerce growth collapsed. The Ontario and Fontana logistics hubs, which employed over 120,000 workers, have cut overtime and shifted thousands to part-time status. Meanwhile, inflation continues to hammer residents. Groceries are up 9%, gas averages $5.30 per gallon, and average electricity bills exceed $290 per month, all while wages stagnate. The city's affordability illusion is gone. The average household earns $74,000. Yet a typical mortgage now demands over $4,000 per month when factoring in taxes and insurance. That's 65% of gross income, an unsustainable ratio that has pushed new buyers into financial quicksand. Investors who flooded the area during the pandemic, scooping up homes for $400,000, are now panicking as rents flatten at $2,300, leaving them with negative cash flow of over $1,500 a month. Local infrastructure isn't helping either. Property crime is up 21%, homelessness has surged 37%, and schools are losing students as families pack up for Texas and Nevada. The once thriving Inland Empire has become a warning sign. Record household debt, rising delinquencies, and eroding job stability are converging to form California's next foreclosure wave. San Bernardino, the city that once symbolized suburban expansion, is now ground zero for its implosion. Number 6. San Diego. San Diego, long celebrated for its beaches, sunshine, and lifestyle, is quietly falling into an affordability abyss. The median home price sits near $930,000, down 2.5% year over year, yet still completely detached from local wages. The average household earns just $102,000, but a standard 30-year mortgage now costs $6,200 a month, consuming 73% of gross income. Even the rental market has broken. The average two-bedroom apartment rents for $3,400, up 41% since 2020. The job market has soured beneath the postcard views. The city's unemployment rate climbed to 5.3%, and local job postings are down 22%. Tourism, biotech, and defense, the city's three lifelines, are all slowing. Hotel occupancy has fallen below 63%. Small business bankruptcies are up 18%, and the once booming construction sector has seen permits collapse by 52%. Home sales volume has cratered 43% from 2021 levels, while active listings have climbed past 6,700, up from just 3,800 2 years ago. Sellers who once bragged about bidding wars now offer $50,000 price cuts, yet buyers remain frozen. Insurance costs add to the misery. Coastal flood and fire policies jumped 16%, with average premiums now exceeding $3,200 annually. For investors, the math simply doesn't work. With property taxes averaging 1.25% and maintenance costs rising, owning rental real estate in San Diego has turned into a break-even gamble. Even luxury is showing cracks. Properties in La Jolla and Del Mar are selling 12% below list price, a sharp contrast to the frenzied market of 2021. Beneath the surface of this coastal paradise lies an unsustainable economy, one propped up by credit cards, investor speculation, and fading tourism. San Diego remains stunning to look at, but behind every palm tree is a financial cliff, one that more Californians are falling off each month. Number 5. San Francisco. Once the crown jewel of American innovation, San Francisco now stands as a monument to economic decay. The median home value has fallen to $1.22 million, down 3.8% in the last year, and over 11% since mid-2022. Downtown condos that sold for $950,000 in 2015 are now listed for $499,000, a breathtaking 45% price crash. The average monthly mortgage, once $3,200, now exceeds $7,800, while the city's median household income sits near $118,000. Completely unsustainable. San Francisco's labor market, the engine that once powered its $535 billion metro economy, is in freefall. Job postings for software developers have dropped 70% from 2022, and total listings on Indeed are now 17% below pre-pandemic levels. Unemployment is hovering around 5.5%, and tech layoffs have gutted tens of thousands of positions at Salesforce, Meta, and Google's Bay Area offices. Each layoff wave pushes more homeowners to list properties they can't afford, swelling the number of active listings by 42% year over year. Commercial real estate is imploding alongside housing. Downtown vacancy rates sit at 36%, the highest in U.S. history for a major metro. Businesses that once paid $70 per square foot are renegotiating leases at half that. Meanwhile, the city's tax revenue has dropped 18%, leaving officials slashing budgets even as homelessness surpasses 8,000 people, up 27% since 2019. Once hailed as the birthplace of billion-dollar startups, San Francisco has become a cautionary tale of inequality and collapse. The cost of living is 82% above the U.S. average, while crime and drug addiction chase out both workers and investors. Even the city's population has shrunk by 75,000 since 2020, reversing decades of growth. The so-called AI boom has done nothing to save it, only automating away jobs and masking a deeper recession. For all its innovation, San Francisco now symbolizes a stunning reality. Even the richest city in America can go broke from its own success. Number 4. Oakland. Just across the bridge from San Francisco, Oakland's housing market is unraveling at record speed. Home values that once touched $870,000 in 2021 have slipped to $780,000, a 10% drop in barely 2 years. Forecasts set another 11% decline ahead, while home sales volume has fallen 52% since 2022, the steepest collapse in Northern California. The median mortgage payment is now $5,200 a month, while the average household earns $94,000, meaning buyers must spend nearly 2/3 of income just to stay afloat. Oakland's unemployment rate has surged to 5.8%, one of the highest in the Bay Area. Job postings are down 40% from pre-pandemic levels, and major employers like Kaiser Permanente, Clorox, and regional tech contractors are cutting staff. The once vibrant port economy, which handled over $100 billion in cargo annually, is stagnating amid global shipping slowdowns. Container traffic fell 18% year-over-year, hitting local tax revenues and service jobs hard. The city's financial strain is now visible in its neighborhoods. Delinquencies on FHA mortgages are up 72%, and 1 in every 190 homes is behind on payments. Property crime spiked 32%, further deterring buyers. Investors who rushed in during the pandemic now face collapsing rent spreads. A 3-bedroom unit rents for $2,800, while average ownership costs exceed $5,000, producing negative cash flow of $2,200 per month. Citywide, homelessness has soared past 5,000 people, and the downtown retail corridor is half empty, with office vacancies at 30%. Even property tax collections have declined 7%, leaving fewer funds for policing and maintenance. Once seen as San Francisco's affordable sibling, Oakland has now inherited its crisis, without its wealth. The Bay Bridge no longer connects prosperity. It connects two collapsing markets. Oakland's decline mirrors San Francisco's, but cuts deeper for the working class. This is no longer a housing correction. It's a socio-economic implosion disguised by blue skies and billion-dollar tech campuses. Number 3. Napa. Napa's golden hills once symbolized California's prosperity. A paradise of vineyards, tourists, and multi-million-dollar estates. But beneath the rows of Cabernet grapes, the numbers tell a story of quiet collapse. The median home value now sits at $890,000, down 4% year-over-year, and sales have plunged 38%. Properties that fetched $1.2 million in 2021 are languishing unsold at $950,000, and the average days on market has doubled to 61 days. Even the region's signature wine economy is drying up. Tourism revenue has fallen 17% since 2022, hotel occupancy dropped below 64%, and more than 1 in 5 tasting rooms reports declining visitor traffic. That matters because hospitality jobs once employed nearly 20% of the county's workforce. Now, unemployment has climbed to 5.1%, while hundreds of service workers leave for cheaper states like Oregon or Idaho. The financial pain doesn't stop there. Insurance rates have become crippling after the 2024 wildfire season. Homeowner premiums jumped 18% in 6 months, with some rural zones facing increases over 30%. State Farm's local branch requested a 36% hike, while Allstate halted new policies entirely. This means an average Napa homeowner now pays $5,400 a year just for insurance, up from $3,200 pre-pandemic. Property taxes on million-dollar homes add another $12,000 annually, pushing total ownership costs past $7,000 per month for many residents. The result is an exodus even among the wealthy. The county lost 3,700 residents in 2024, the first major population drop in a decade. Empty chateaux dot the hills, vineyards list at half their 2019 valuations, and second homeowners are quietly liquidating before prices slide further. What was once marketed as wine country wealth now looks like luxury oversupply. Too many estates, not enough buyers. Napa's charm hasn't vanished, but its prosperity has. Behind every scenic sunset is a ledger bleeding red ink, proof that even California's elite enclaves are no longer immune to the crash. Number 2. Sacramento. Sacramento, the seat of California's government, is now the nerve center of its housing crisis. The median home price stands at $520,000, down 2% year over year and 7% since mid-2022, marking the sharpest correction among major inland metros. Sales volume has collapsed 41%, while listings have surged to 6,200 active homes, the most in over a decade. During the pandemic boom, Bay Area buyers flooded Sacramento, bidding $100,000 over asking for suburban homes. Now, those same buyers are underwater. Mortgage payments on a typical 3-bedroom home run $3,900 a month, while the city's median household income is just $83,000. That means families are spending 56% of their gross income on housing, an unsustainable burden that's fueling foreclosures. Delinquencies on FHA loans jumped 63% in 1 year, and pre-foreclosure filings are up 220% since 2023. The job market, once buoyed by state employment, is shrinking. California's government hiring freeze has cut thousands of positions, and private sector job postings are down 33%, according to Indeed. Sacramento's unemployment rate has climbed to 5.7%, while small business bankruptcies have surged 28%. Even construction, once a bright spot, is fading fast. New building permits fell 47% year over year, halting suburban expansion around Elk Grove and Roseville. Affordability has eroded so badly that rental prices are now falling. Average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment dropped 7%, the largest decline since 2010, signaling landlords are struggling to fill units as residents move out. Outmigration from the Sacramento metro topped 22,000 people in 2024, many headed for Nevada, Texas, or Idaho. Once marketed as the affordable alternative to the Bay Area, Sacramento is learning there's no safe zone left in California. Every indicator, from plummeting sales to rising foreclosures, points to the same outcome. The capital city is becoming a warning for the entire state. The housing bubble has burst, and California's collapse now starts right where its laws are written. Number 1. Los Angeles. Los Angeles has become the perfect symbol of California's economic schizophrenia. Obscene wealth on one side, quiet collapse on the other. The median home value is $1.05 million, and to buy an average 3-bedroom home now costs $9,500 a month in mortgage, taxes, and insurance. That's $115,000 a year, just to keep a roof over your head. The average household earns $92,000. The math is catastrophic. Prices are down 1.4% year over year, but sales have plunged 48%, the lowest on record. Foreclosures, though still modest, have doubled in a year, while 25% of new listings receive price cuts averaging $80,000. The entertainment industry, once LA's engine, is sputtering. Film studio stage occupancy dropped from 92% to 61%. Thousands of writers and editors remain jobless after last year's strikes, and media sector postings have fallen 45% since 2021. The city's unemployment rate has climbed to 5.6%, while homelessness now tops 78,000 people, a 12% rise in just 1 year. Property crime up 17%, insurance up 19%, and utilities up 11%, all feeding the mass exodus. Los Angeles County alone lost 99,000 residents in 2024, continuing its 35-year streak of domestic outmigration. Luxury real estate is also cracking. Beverly Hills home values, averaging $4.9 million, are down 3.4%, with high-end transactions collapsing by 58%. Even international investors are fleeing, and Chinese capital inflows have dropped 67% since 2021. Meanwhile, rental yields hover below 2.5%, making Los Angeles one of the least profitable markets in America. LA's illusion of endless growth has shattered. Behind every mansion listing and palm-lined street lies a collapsing middle class, drowning in taxes, rent, and debt. The City of Angels has become the city of empty wallets, a glittering skyline masking a financial implosion that no one in power seems willing to stop.